Hi there, I'm Nigel Vardy. Welcome to the extended version of my Mr. Frostbite blog about playing your cards right. I'm frequently told that I don't play my disability card enough because apparently everybody else does. Really? Do we really need to go on endlessly in our life just filling the world with how bad things have been, or the disabilities we have, or the problems life brings to us, how hard life can be, or do we just get on with it? In fact, how do we even define disability? There are many ways to define a disability in law. You've only got to look on the internet and you'll be absolutely buried with stuff. But there's one that makes more sense to me, and I'm going to have to read this. A physical or mental condition that limits a person's movement, senses or activities. But what I'd put on that is a caveat, and a lot of that is choice. And the choice is to be disabled or enabled. Let me try and explain that. The choices we make in life may define who we are and how we live. And that happens in so many things. And it's not for others to place their labels on us. I can't bear people saying this person is when they're not trying to understand the issue themselves. Just to give you an example, I don't have toes. And I get told by a lot of people that I can't do things. And I get told this repeatedly by people who have toes. So what do they know? What do they understand? How can they comprehend what it's like not having toes? And therefore, how can they put their life choices on me and their decisions on me? People's opinions are mind-boggling, I assure you. When you go through a major accident, incident, change in your life, whatever it is, you will be bombarded with oceans of sympathy and pity. And trust me, at the start, sympathy is quite a nice thing. But these places, sympathy and pity, are very soft pillows in which to reside in, and I recommend you only reside in them a very, very short time, because action, determination, resilience, doing things should be allowed to define us, not sitting in a pit of despair. Let me give you a shining example. I was heading up towards Birmingham. I'd been somewhere and I was sat at a table, and opposite me was a young lad who had a very obvious hand injury. And when you've got hands like this, you tend to notice these things. And I was having a chat with this young lad, and he was off to the Selly Oak Hospital, the military hospital in Birmingham, for some work. He'd lost a couple of fingers in a blast or something, I believe in Afghanistan. And I was really quite, we had a really great conversation about life and obviously our personal interests. And I said to him, what are you looking to do next? And it was just, I have got to get back in action. I said, really? He said, yeah, I have got to get back. I don't care what's happened. I want to get back in the front line with my friends doing what I love best. I know I'll have to have some adaptations. It's not a problem. I just want to get back in action. And this guy had lost, I say, a couple of three fingers in some incident, but what he'd got is an enormous drive to go. And that's something I've seen in the military and many other places over the last few years since this has happened, because this highlights it. Having worked with the military and many other organisations over the years, some things really come out. And it's a very simple phrase. It's the fact that you take out of a situation what you take into it. So if you're motivated and driven, and then you perhaps go into a terrible accident or some terrible incident or situation, and you come out battered, bruised, torn, whatever, if you go in highly motivated, you will probably come out reasonably or highly motivated. However, and this is something I learned in Alaska when I was in hospital, the nurses were telling me about what they call pro bono cases, so people they treat who may have no money but also sadly perhaps come off the street. They had a lot of drunks sadly, and people living on the streets of Anchorage who had got frostbitten, poorly motivated, terrible situations. And what they said is, we can give them the world, Mr. Vardy, But if they go in poorly motivated, they'll come out poorly motivated. You are lucky. You're young, you're strong, and you've come in highly motivated. You'll still go out young and strong with a few bits missing, but you're still highly motivated, and that will serve you well. What those nursing staff were trying to explain to me, and I see this, I go to hospital a lot, I'm having trouble with these nerves and all kinds of things, and what I see is what they call frequent flyers. There are people going back to hospital with issues and problems that I sometimes think they don't want to solve, and I sometimes think they want to hold disability or injury as a chip on the shoulder. Why? Why not just get on with your life and be the very best at it that you can be? People know me for my mountaineering, my travelling, people comment on my website and Facebook feeds and all kinds of social networking, and everybody thinks it's great. And of course, people only see that side. What they don't see is me getting out of bed in the morning where I can barely face the pain of putting my feet down. They don't see me fumbling with these, and I do this more and more now actually. I'm starting to find a few issues there. They don't see me struggling with my feet and the medical help I accept and I know I need to keep going every day. As I said earlier, I've got a bit of nerve response issues here, but there's no need to complain about it. There's no need to go on about it. What we need to do is deal with it. And I take the very best care of myself that I can. And that means creaming skin grafts. It means dealing with my feet. It means having sports physio. It means at times, as some people will know, I work very hard on myself, times resting, because I don't know what later life's going to bring me. So I need to embrace what I have, but protect what I have and work with what I have rather than treat it badly. I know a lot of people in the medical profession that tell me we have people coming in with injuries, with things such as diabetes and what have you, and they don't treat themselves well, they don't care for themselves well, and then they become a frequent flyer. Rather than people that try their best. I am not saying I'm perfect by a long way, but I can work damn hard at trying to be the best I can. It's no fault of people that they'll want to help you after a major accident or a big change in your life, and lots of people came to help me and I'm very, very thankful of the help. But you also have to know when that help needs to stop. Let me give you a very basic example. I had to learn how to walk, but once I'm upright, nobody can walk for me. I had to do, buttons on a shirt, whatever. Nobody can do that for me. But these came into light quite well. And this was about learning how to write. And everybody kept saying to him, Mr. Vardy, we've got special pens, we've got foam fittings like this, we've got special things to help you write. And I said, that's great, that's wonderful. I don't want any of them. These out there, I want to learn how to write with any old pen, because I can't always carry things. I want to learn how to eat with any old knife and fork, because I can't always carry things. I want to be able to write with all these and different things. And so what I said was, your help is wonderful. It's so nice. Thank you so much. But you have to let me learn. You have to let me learn the lessons, face the pain and the aggravation and the frustration, because nobody can work with my body like I can. And that was a very difficult thing for some people to understand. There's a phrase I know from speaking years ago called getting out of your own way. And what I had to do was get out of my way with accepting help, but also ask everybody else to get out of their way by stopping them pushing forward, saying, I'll do that for you, I'll do that for you. Please, no. Let me try. Let me have a go. Let me understand, and if I need help, I'll ask. But if I don't need help, I have got to learn, how to use these, how to walk and get around on toeless feet, how to manage my body and whatever else in the world. You can only do that yourself. Quite simply. So everybody has to learn where that tightrope is to walk, that knife edge. And if everybody in society could understand this better, that sometimes people just want to do it themselves, you have to stop helping them. I'm not trying to be cruel and nasty, but sometimes people need that little push. And the first day I stood up, I had a walking frame. Great. And the first thing the nurses did when I started walking was took it off me. Are they being cruel? No. What they're doing is they're giving me a kick up the bum and saying, you're upright now, you don't need that frame, because if you have it, you'll hang on to that for the rest of your life. So let's take it away and you can learn to walk. So frostbite, is it a unique selling point? I have absolutely no idea. But what it is, it's what's happened. And I can't change that. I cannot change what's happened. All I can do is stand up on what's left of my own 2 feet and carry on. And if you want to call me disabled, that's up to you. All I will say is this: if any of you have seen a film called Climbing Blind, with the climber Jesse Dufton in it, who is absolutely blind and leading the old man of Hoy, trad, with no sight, watch it and listen to what Jesse says at the very end. I'm not disabled, I'm blind and able. I hope you've enjoyed that extended version of my blog. If you want to actually read it, it's on my website, details down there somewhere. And hopefully I'll see you again on Mr. Frostbite. My name's Nigel Vardy, and have a great time out there, folks.